11 New York Rangers with a point tonight. The brilliance that was Igor Shesterkin, the MSG crowd on their feet, and everybody thinks there's a chance for the Rangers in this series, including Coach Ryan D. Pretenders no more. The Rangers look amazing. Zibanejad's hot. Kid line is on fire. Chytil is heating up, but hey, whoa, stop me if I've heard this song before from the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning lost in great fashion like this to the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is a totally different team than the New York Rangers, so we can't completely say it's the same thing. However, the Rangers completely handle the Lightning, yet I don't think there's any reason for the Lightning fans to panic yet, and you know you're not going to get any panic from the Lightning, not that veteran team, so let's go ahead. Let's play it again, and let's talk about it. So you guys know at the beginning of this that I ragged on the Rangers because of their Corsi, their inability to generate chances on net. And this game, this was the first game I've seen, and these guys have been going up, like on an exponential curve up. So the young New York Rangers, young in the sense of playoff experience as a unit, as this cohesive unit, they have been on a large exponential curve of developing that playoff experience, and they are really dialed in and playing their game. I thought this was the best game they've played all playoffs. They've had some good ones, but on the back of that game 7 plus this one, those 2 back-to-back that were just excellent. And momentum, or mentum as we're going to call it, ends up taking over on this one. So the New York Rangers, they played 7. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they played 4. The Rangers are only getting better. This was their best, and their Corsi and their chances on net, this was the best I've ever seen the Rangers do in the playoffs. They had 34 chances tonight, and you know what? 17 of those came in the second period, and guess what came with those? 3 goals, baby. You got to get shots to get goals. You want to go ahead and put up 6? You want to be all gas all day? You got to put pucks on net. It's not pucks in deep. When people, pucks in deep. No, it's not pucks in deep. You want puck possession. You want to carry the line. You want to hold the puck. You do not want to dump and chase, but you do want to get pucks on net and pucks to the net. That is why Corsi is so important offensively. Now, defensively, the overall Corsi can be a little bit challenging because the Tampa Bay Lightning are a darn good squad. They put 39 chances on Igor Shesterkin, and let's be honest, in the first period, when this game was really close, it felt like the Lightning could have busted this open at any point in time, but Shesterkin was brilliant. Just made some incredible saves. Bell to bell, Igor Shesterkin out goalies Ondrej Vasilevskiy, and the New York Rangers outplay the Tampa Bay Lightning, but the Tampa Bay Lightning were no slouches in this game, so I wouldn't walk away from this game with any bit of, we didn't play good, or the Rangers have our number. I wouldn't feel like that at all if I was the Tampa Bay Lightning. I just feel like we have to tighten up our defense, and we have to score some goals, because if Igor doesn't make a few of the massive saves he makes in the first, this game could be 4-1, 3-2 Tampa Bay really quickly. But there were just some absolute doozies there by Igor. He was incredible. And you know what? When we say it's Team Shesterkin, you can't play this way without a guy like that in net. So it's okay to rely on your hot goalie. Tampa Bay did it all the way through the Florida series. It's okay to rely on your hot goalie if you're New York. I'm just thrilled they're putting more shots on net. If they're going to go ahead and put shot counts like this on net, plus Igor, I don't know if anything's going to stop them in this series or anywhere else, but we're going to have to wait and see because it's only one game. And like I said, the Toronto Maple Leafs had the Tampa Bay Lightning on the ropes, and then Ondrej Vasilevskiy in game 5, 6, and 7, he showed up, he woke up, he remembered who he was. The Tampa Bay Lightning have no chill, they don't get rattled, and they end up beating the Toronto Maple Leafs. So until this series is done, and I know Ranger fans, you'll echo this down below in the comments, you'll agree, until this series is done, you are not signaling for any kind of victory parade. You're happy you won game 1, but don't forget, there was a parade on Yonge Street in Toronto after game 1. You don't want to go ahead and have a parade on 5th Avenue just yet. You don't want to go ahead and have a parade in Times Square just yet. Where do parades happen in New York? Can you guys let me know down below? I actually don't know. That's not like a shot for you guys not winning or anything. You've won some things, that's for sure. I just have no idea where the parade occurs. I know where it is on Toronto. That would help a lot. Thank you. Speaking of parades as well, hey, can you keep parading yourselves down to that subscribe button and smashing it for me? You have been doing fantastic. We have caught so many Ranger and Bolts fans. Here's a funny little secret. We have a Discord here, and I want you to go ahead and join it because there's 270 people on there. We can't wait to talk to you. I'm in there all the time. It's the best way to get a hold of me. I want you to go ahead and join it. I want you to realize something. There's a lot of Ranger fans in there. There's actually a few more Bolts fans in there. It's interesting to note that one of the biggest markets that we have here on Hot Garbage Sports is Tampa Bay. Underserved market, I guess. So New York fans, hit subscribe. Tampa Bay fans, hit subscribe. You're not in the minority when you're here with Hot Garbage Sports. We got a really great, humble rivalry going on between the Rangers and the Bolts fans in the Discord right now. Oh yeah, and give that thumbs up. It helps share this video. We've been hitting like 7,000 views a video. Thank you so much to everybody. And if you're really enjoying the content, think about dropping a super thanks down below, or go ahead and join our members page. We have 3 different tiers you can sign up to if you want to go ahead and support the channel through a monetary policy. We give you a couple things back. You get priority access, you get private chat rooms, and you might even have a video made after you, like a couple of these beauties here. So our lower bowl and our executive suite members, big shout out and thank you to you all, as well to our upper bowl members. A couple different ways you can help support. We really appreciate it, whether it's free or monetized. Let's keep going. How about that scrum at the end of the game? It was interesting. Everybody got a penalty. That was interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen 10 for 10 with penalties. I'm surprised the goalie didn't end up getting in there, but you got to be happy about that. Why not? Shesterkin's not going to get in there, especially after he ended up getting knocked down there by Steven Stamkos. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to that because a lot of people think that's a flop or a dive. I fully disagree. Key to heavy hockey, though, is to not do stupid things, and there really was only one penalty in this game, and that ended up going to Brandon Hagel. Look, I love Brandon Hagel. You gotta respect the veteran presence of the Tampa Bay Lightning and what they're teaching the young kids, because I'm watching Hagel and I'm watching Nick Paul, and you've heard me say it on this channel, you got to cheat within the rules. Well, Hagel ends up getting caught for holding the stick, but Nick Paul and Hagel, Nick Paul doesn't get called for the cross check behind the net. Hagel almost gets away with the stick hold, and we've shown the Tampa Bay Lightning love holding sticks. Killorn and Hedman are kings of it. Hagel tries it himself. He ends up in the box, but Tampa Bay gets away with more than they get called on. Nick Paul's a great example of it. They will not only beat you up, but they're a little bit wienery when it comes to that, and I say that with all types of compliments. That's what you have to do in order to win in the playoffs. Even at the face-off, look at him talking trash to the linesman before he drops it, telling the Ranger he's not in position. I really appreciate some of these veteran tactics that the Tampa Bay Lightning do. It helps, it adds up, it gets in the head, but I also appreciate the toughness and the resolve of the New York Rangers for not letting it get to them and not taking any retaliatory penalties. So before the third, there was only 2 minutes. So even though I felt like this is a heavy series and there was some physicality in it, they end up doing it smartly. And speaking of hits as well, too, you'll notice a lot in this series. Yes, they're big teams, but they're not going to finish their checks. We're talking about this in a Discord. Trouba is a player that still finishes his checks. Very few players do it, and it catches players off guard. Why do you not finish your checks anymore? For all of you that remember the old saying, and if you're under the age of 25, you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. We'll go down memory lane. They used to tell us who are in our 30s, guys in their 40s or older, every time that puck moves away from you, you finish your check. Well, you don't want to do that anymore in today's NHL because that puts you and the other player out of position, but that actually ends up favoring the offense. And if you're laying a body check, you're not on offense, so it doesn't help the defense to do it. What you're better off do is to turn around, join the structure of your team, and go ahead, get back in the play and back on defense. And that's what you see in today's modern NHL. So there's a lot of talk about the young players, especially guys over on the Oilers team, for instance, that you don't want to get involved in this physicality. No, you just want to do it smartly. And even guys like Maroon and Reeves, they survive in the league, not only because they're super tough, but they actually have an okay amount of skill, at least enough to stay on rosters for now. And they think through the game. They don't just go ahead and look to lay bod when they can. They do it the right way and the smart way. That's why they've made such a long NHL career. So there you go. Finishing your check actually ends up going. So clean game. Cheating within the rules, that goes to Tampa Bay. New York not retaliating. Now let's talk about Shesterkin going down thanks to the Steven Stamkos hit on Shesterkin. People think that goalies flop like this really crazy, but it's not true. The goalie's mask, and you can see it on Shesterkin, he's one of the few guys that wears a plastic chin strap here. So what ends up happening is 2 parts. When you have a 200-pound man like Steven Stamkos with 2 hands on his stick, just getting body position, this wasn't dirty by Stamkos by any means. He just ends up getting a little bit of lumber or composite into the chin area there of Igor Shesterkin. And what that ends up doing is they don't have a concussion built helmet. There's not a whole bunch of chin straps and 4-point straps to take contact. It's made to deflect pucks off their face. It isn't made to take direct head-on impact. So because of that, when a stick ends up hitting it that way, that's not the way a puck hits it. There's nothing to deflect off. So the physics of a helmet means puck hits helmet, puck goes in a different direction and goes off, as opposed to bluntly hitting you in the face and you take all the force. So when a stick hits it, you take all the force and it will rattle a goalie. He's fine. There's no big deal. He'll be all right. Just think about, go ahead, slap yourself in the back of the head. I'll wait. Just go ahead and do it lightly. You feel that little buzz? Half of you tried it. I guarantee you it. You feel that little bit of annoyance? Well, times that by 2 or 3. That's what it feels like to get popped in the chin there. Plus the fact that he's got that plastic chin strap. It's got a 4-point strap here. It ends up jacking up. It gets under your jaw there and the guy ends up going down. I've spent way too long on this. I just want you guys to know that I don't think this is a dive. It's just the way the equipment is built. And when a 200-pound man puts a lumbering stick in front of your face like that and the helmet isn't designed for it, that's what ends up happening. Let's head over here to naturalstattrick.com. Why do I want to show this? I said Corsi is important, but the shots are important as well too. The only reason, in my opinion, the Rangers end up losing in Corsi here is because in the third period, they start chilling out. I mean, they've already got the lead by now. They're playing a little bit of prevent defense. So this game's actually more of a 50-50 game than it looks, but take a look at the shot count. Like as you take a look here, I mean, it's pretty key that in scoring chances, it was 27-32. That's very key. High danger chances is 15-12 and the expected goals is right around the same amount. So the Lightning favored to win this game, but those stats end up getting propped up by the third period push that, this is why we don't just war on a stat sheet. But the key to take away is that this is why you get 6 goals if you're the Rangers. 12 high danger scoring chances is a lot. And when I say Igor Shesterkin played brilliant, he stopped 13 of 15 high danger scoring chances. That's how you get a win. You score on your chances, you stop theirs. It's not really a complex game. Mika Zibanejad ends up playing amazing again tonight. Chytil and the kid line, they're just on fire. So you got 3 lines going. You got all your top 9 who are deep. Reaver's just there to lend a physical hand, be a presence in the locker room. So I really like what the Rangers are doing, but you can't disregard the top 4 defense of the Rangers. Fox, Lindgren, Trouba, and Miller. Miller has another solid game up and down. The less you notice Ondrej Miller, the better he's playing, as weird as that sounds. Steady Eddie back there again. You want a big man like that to be able to make a play where you go, oh, that was a nice play, and then you move on. The more boring defensemen can make hockey, the better of a defenseman they actually are. It's the spectacular plays that you see that gets you out of your seat. But when it comes to winning Stanley Cups, you actually want to have 4 guys back there that aren't doing anything too spectacular. But when you got an offensive dynamo like Fox, think of Miller and Lindgren as your guys that aren't really going to stand out. They're just going to do everything the right way. Trouba ends up standing out for 2 reasons. One, because he's one of the guys that does finish his checks and players don't see it coming. That's why Jarvis ends up with a conky. That's why Crosby ends up with a conky. That's why Domi ends up getting hit, because Trouba is one of the few that goes, okay, the puck's left, but I'm still going to finish my check. Old school mentality, but it can change the tone of a series. We've already talked about how the fact that this guy turns around games on his own. So nice job there by the Rangers. And not to leave the Bolts outdone, but I mean, there's just a lot more storylines about the Rangers. Don't worry, Bolts, you'll have your time in this series as you start lighting it up. Steven Stamkos with an absolute bullet to open the game for the Bolts. We already talked about the Colton Hagel and Nick Paul line. I thought that was one of the best lines out there. They ended up going with 11 forwards, which was very, very unique. I mean, I still prefer to go with 12, but there's a lot of confidence in a coach like John Cooper when he's like, YOLO, man, let's go 7 and 11. We will be open 365. And that is tough to manage a bench that way, but it says a lot about your 12th forward if you want to go ahead and put in a 7th defenseman instead. Look, I don't hate the call at all. It just means your top 9 is going to get more ice time. You've heard me say it, get that top 9 play. But it ends up forcing a breakup of Maroon and Perry. And I wonder if that really was the way to go, because Perry ends up moving into the third line. Perry has another good game, but Perry isn't the X factor, the difference maker you've seen here. The other thing to note is guys like Cal Foote, Jan Rutta, they're really starting to develop quite well in Tampa Bay. As I watch Tampa Bay play and some of their other guys age up or who have been around there for some time, like Hedman and Stamkos, when I watch guys like Foote, Paul, Colton, Hagel, those types of guys, I go, Tampa doesn't really rebuild, do they? They just reload. Frankie Vatrano makes a really nice board play here using his backhand in order to get it around. What you end up seeing is the Tampa Bay defenseman pinching, and unfortunately that pinch is going to end up costing them. He ends up pinching though because he has puck support right here. So there's nothing wrong with this pinch because you're 3-on-3. So as soon as you're 3-on-3, you want to go ahead, you want to pinch it up, you want to play man coverage here. Unfortunately, Mika Zibanejad, the elite Mika Zibanejad, you're welcome. He ends up picking up the puck here, and it's just pure speed, right? Speed. He blows through him. Zibanejad with that hair in the wind, and you can see that big long windup. Vasilevskiy has to honor this, and the angle that he's on, I mean, Vasilevskiy's on the right angle, but look at the amount of angle Vasilevskiy has to cover in order to get over there. Zibanejad's going to make that pass across the Royal Road. It's a slap pass. I love this as well, too. Did you notice that Kreider just stopped skating, stays in the slot? This is a set play from two guys that work on this all the time at practice, because most guys are just going to keep driving the net. And you can see the fact that he ends up laying down to take that puck away, he ends up laying down because he thinks he's going to be driving the net. So fooled you. That's a really big brain play by two goal scorers here. Nice job by Zibanejad. And the other thing to look at is how ice cold is Zibanejad. Look at his head. He is still staring down Vasilevskiy. That makes this such a difficult save, and it doesn't allow Vasilevskiy to even think about starting to move over because he still has to react to the fact that he's seeing eyes. So even though this puck is already on its way over to Chris Kreider, the easy thing to say here is the goalie had no chance. The defenseman had no chance. The defenseman needs to take the pass, whether it's one knee down, and I like one knee down a lot better than I like lying down. So this is like halfway there. I don't totally hate this play. I understand where he's going. So the back checker ends up getting beat. He keeps him to the outside, but the real goal is here is you can't allow that puck to cross the Royal Road. It does. It comes over. This is how good Vasilevskiy is, even though that puck ended up coming over. Puck's right here. It's midair. Look, Vasilevskiy's already covered so much of the net. This guy's incredible. He may not have had the best game tonight, but none of these goals really are on him. It ends up beating him. It's a perfect shot by Kreider. I love the fact that Kreider ends up using the entire net. A lot of guys would have either put it in the middle of the net here or just in an area that Vasilevskiy had a chance. Kreider snipes it, makes sure that there is no chance for Vasilevskiy. There's a lot to talk about in that goal because that's just a beautiful goal. Steven Stamkos, the second best goal of the game. Take a look here. The Rangers have a lot of opportunities in order to get it out. Really nice puck support here by K'Andre Miller. I love the fact that he's not getting too aggressive. You got Zibanejad in the right spot. Trouba's doing exactly what he needs to do. So the Rangers got good D-zone positioning here. This is just going to come down to a battle of 2-on-1s, and that's what this game is. You heard me say it all the time. Battle of 2-on-1s. Miller ends up losing the first battle of 2-on-1s, then he wins this one. So you see the loss down here in the corner. Miller makes up for it, wins the battle of 2-on-1 here. Now the advantage goes to the Rangers. They should be able to clear the zone because they won the most important 2-on-1. Miller wins another battle here by being able to move the puck forward, but he gets a little bit of an errant bounce. That's unfortunate. Tampa Bay is able to retool, and as soon as you see Tampa Bay retooling, watch what happens. We're going to get on the right side of the puck. We're not going to leave the zone. We're not going to leave the zone. Let's not panic. We've already turned it over, and here's the goal scorer. He's already thinking about what he's going to do on this play. You notice it's a 3-on-2 battle here, and as it's a 3-on-2 battle, Stamkos, goal scorers will do this from time to time. You're going to stay back before you end up getting the play, but as soon as he sees it, now he's in a good skating stride. He's going to go support his friends. He goes, I understand now that this is a 3-on-2 battle. So it was a 2-on-2 turned into a 3-on-2, and what's a 3-on-2? Fancy way to say 2-on-1. So as Stamkos notices he's outnumbered in a 2-on-1, he's going to skate into there, and then Tampa Bay ends up turning it over again. They win the battle of the 2-on-1 down 1. So because they end up winning that battle, and this game's all about individual puck battles, Stevie Stamkos is able to pick up that puck at the top. He moves it over there to Rutta. I mean, you got to love what Stamkos does. And then what does he do? He's already waiting for it, and he's calling for it. And what's Shesterkin doing? Shesterkin's watching the puck as he's supposed to. That has changed enough angles here on Shesterkin, but Stamkos knows he's ready for that puck back. He's a goal scorer. That puck ends up moving in, and it's a perfectly timed screen right here in front of Shesterkin. He's going to lose the puck. Trouba is unable to move the screen in time. The puck has eyes. I mean, you could see it here. It ends up right on the inside of the post. That's the only way you're going to beat these goalies. You better have shooter shots and pick perfect spots. Really nice goal by Stamkos, one of the NHL's best pure goal scorers. Beautiful save here by Shesterkin. We got to include him in the highlight reel. Take a look at Adam Fox, one of the best players in the NHL. Well, this is why I got Makar above Fox right now. He has a little bit of a brain fart once in a while as a defenseman. So, look, you got a lot of room here, and what he ends up doing is moving the puck up the wall. For any defenseman or anybody that's watching this channel and you want to know what defensemen are going to do, it's really simple. When you have a step on him, and Fox usually does this, start moving your feet and take the gap. You don't want to go ahead and break out with a pass here. You don't want to force passes as defenseman unless he's either wide open or you've taken all the space you can take. But he unfortunately decides to not move his feet here. That's the problem. When we talk about Adam Fox moving his feet all the time, he ends up getting caught flat-footed. And remember, we say move your feet first, then use your head, then use your hands. But unfortunately, he uses his head first, then he uses his hands. He totally forgets about his feet. And because of that, he doesn't take his gap. Beautiful little pick-off here by Tampa Bay. Puck ends up the wrong way. Look how quickly Tampa Bay can transition. As soon as they turn that puck over from defense to offense, they're gone. They have odd numbers here. Killorn's going to end up not shooting the puck. Lindgren's going to go ahead and try to make that play. No problem with Lindgren going down on one knee here. You're outnumbered. You got to make some kind of play. This is just a broken play, desperate attempt, but it ends up moving over. And now Shesterkin, oh my goodness, I cannot believe Shesterkin made these saves. This game should be 2-1 here. It moves over. Shesterkin gets aggressive on the puck. He not only moves his angle properly, but he moves his angle properly. And instead of making a poke check, he uses his pad and gets in the way, totally taking it away. Adam Fox then makes up for it, picks up that loose puck, and they end up moving on. Little bit of a brain fart from Fox, greatness from Shesterkin. So when you make a mistake and your goalie bails you out, that's as good as a goal. One more here by Shesterkin. Trouba ends up in a 2-on-1. He does our famous lay down and dive, but that's not what we're looking at. Take a look at the angle change here on Shesterkin. This is a pass over to Kucherov. This is in the back of the net. This is a goal all day, every day. 2-on-1 with Kucherov loose. Look at all that net he has to take away from, but the greatness that is Igor Shesterkin says, no way, Jose, beauty stop there by Shesterkin. This game should now be 3-1 if you're not playing against Igor. Both teams are very comfortable in close games, so we end up seeing a goal here on the rush. Look, this is a beautiful pass, and who is activating there? Well, it's none other than Adam Fox. Very offensively minded, so he's going to go ahead. He's going to make up for the brain fart that he ends up having here. Fox ends up picking up the puck, and look at that little one-toucher. Beauty one-toucher. You got to love it. That one-toucher is so good. I can't believe he doesn't end up handling it. Now we have a broken play. This shouldn't be a goal, but it's still going to turn into one. Little bit of a reach in. Fox is able to recover the puck here. He ends up moving out. Vatrano ends up just getting a loose shot here. There's not much you can say here. Vatrano ends up picking up the junk in the high slot. Vasilevskiy doesn't see it coming. This isn't Vasilevskiy's best, to be honest. He should be able to stop that. After the broken play, it shouldn't go in, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. A lot of guys are going to want to point to the tip in here. There is a little bit of a tip in on the goal. It ends up sneaking in, and when we say it's better to be lucky than good, don't ever take that as like Vatrano shouldn't score. He put one on net, but this is why we talk about Corsi. Sometimes you just want to turn around and fire a puck, and that's all Vatrano's doing here. This is a head down, turn around, throw a puck on net. It ends up hitting a body. Vasilevskiy has the angle. It ends up sneaking in over his shoulder, but you know what? Corsi matters, pucks on net matter, and you can beat even the most elite of goalies sometimes with a little bit of luck and a little bit of puck on net. Chytil, Lafreniere, Kappo, the kid line end up doing it here, and you know what? This is the greatness you've all been looking for from Kappo Kakko. Look at these moves. He ends up sticking it through, and Tampa Bay is in perfect, just perfect position here, but somebody has to realize that Chytil is gotten loose, and it's really interesting when you play offense because defense always get puck watching. It's not defensemen. Defensive players always get puck watching. Everybody, fans, all people, including Vezina Trophy winning defensemen, get puck watching. Chytil uses it to his advantage because of the beautiful moves that Kappo ends up making. He ends up creating all this space. Look, he's dragged 4 defenders to him. Everybody has forgotten about Chytil. That is the brilliance on that play of the second overall pick. Awesome goal here by Chytil. Nothing Vasilevskiy's going to do about it. Remember, when it comes from south to north and you have that angle change, that is very difficult for a goalie. Plus, it's going through 4 players. You can't puck watch, but sometimes you can't help it when you see beauty behind the net. Chytil, Miller, Lafreniere, also Adam Fox, he doesn't get on the score sheet here, but isn't he incredible? First thing to take a look at here, going along with Corsi, is zone possession. Zone and, more importantly, puck possession matter the most. You can't get scored on when the puck's on your stick. And again, you can't get a lot of shots if you don't got a lot of possession. So the Rangers really did beat the Tampa Bay Lightning all over the ice tonight. But I hope from some of those saves you saw that Tampa Bay actually ends up playing quite a good game. Fox is going to go here and widen the zone. So Fox ends up moving this over, and what you end up doing is you trap all of the Tampa Bay players in one zone, and you're going to force an angle change here on Vasilevskiy. Tampa Bay just gets, and they're just puck watching at this point in time. There's nothing you can do. You end up moving this over to Miller, just a really nice job. And this is what I said. This is what I like about Miller. Remember, look at how he walks with that puck. Again, forward converted to defenseman. Forwards don't learn to skate like this. Like, it takes a lot of athleticism and skill to do what he's doing here. And why? Because forwards don't usually end up going backwards. That's usually one of the weakest parts of their game. So he ends up doing that. Chytil gets lost again, because of course he does. Everybody's got to switch over when you're Tampa Bay. So when you're making a zone switch here, I think this is a really cool thing to watch Tampa Bay fans on. When you end up moving the puck over, there's a certain way you want to do it. So as that puck ended up moving over this way, you need a switch. You got to get one guy out to the point over here. The second man, you got to go ahead and get up to the high point over here. Then you have to have your puck support over here, who's going to be Palat. Then you've got to have your two guys in front of the net, and someone's got to be taking a look for Chytil over here, but they don't end up doing it. So it's not a bad switch here by Tampa Bay side to side, but they end up losing Chytil, and that causes the problem. So you see Miller walk over, you've got your puck support, you've got your two guys battling in front of the net, but 71's got to look out for him, because you got to realize who's behind you. No one has a stick in the lane here either. Look, do you see a stick in the lane? I see a stick up, not in the lane, a stick not in the right position. Stamkos gets burnt by Miller's fancy skating. You got to love it. That's going to leave open a beautiful opening here. Nothing Vasilevskiy or anybody's going to do about it. This is a team goal by the Rangers. That's the only way to say it. It's just a pure team goal. Chytil may score, Miller may get the assist, Lafreniere may get an assist, Fox deserves one there. Really nice job by the Rangers. Nothing wrong with the defensive zone switch by the Tampa Bay Lightning, but they get caught running around and they forget about the kid behind them. All right, Jacob Trouba doing smart things here. You see a loose puck here. You see a 50-50 battle for the puck. You got two choices, blow up the player or get the puck. Trouba makes the right choice by getting the puck here. Trouba also makes the right choice understanding he has a 3-on-2, or what do we call that? 2-on-1, ding, ding, ding. He ends up taking advantage of that 2-on-1. 2-on-1s matter. He can go ahead and pinch this way because he has support there by 16. That puck ends up chipping through the zone. Tampa Bay's got really good puck support here, but it ends up just bouncing over his stick. Copper is gone, so the Winnipeg Jets kicking in here for the New York Rangers. Jets and Rangers helping each other out. Copp ends up moving it over. The key to notice here is how good is Artemi Panarin. Like, this puck is behind him. He's in a standing up, straight up stance. He doesn't have anything pointed in the direction you want to be pointed at in terms of receiving this pass. But the key to note is look at his foot position. When we shoot, we always want to have our feet pointed at the net. We actually don't want to be sideways because we end up losing momentum that way. So Panarin's got amazing body control on this one. And you all know what I know on this one. This is a one-timer. He ends up moving his hands up the shaft of the stick here. Again, he gets really tight, really tall. He's playing with tight hands here. He's playing on one foot. He doesn't have a lot of power. You get all of your power in your shots from your legs. He's basically taken his legs out of the equation here. So this is a pure wrister, pure snapper. And not only does he end up sniping it over here to the left side, again, that's the way you're going to beat Vasilevskiy. You can't just shoot for open net. You still got to pick corners. You still got to use the entire length of the net. But how damn good is Artemi Panarin? Zabby says, Coach Ryan D, I've watched your video. This is Zabby's home. He loves it. Bellemare is the guy to watch here. Why? Because he just made a monstrous block and he's basically on one leg right now. What's really funny is players know this. These three guys here all know that Bellemare is hurt. So they're going to make him move. They're going to make him work. They know he is a one-legged pirate at this point in time. Peg leg is not going to do it, and you gotta love the toughness of the Tampa Bay Lightning. We aren't chirping them. These guys get sticks in the lane. They end up using the power I here right now, or you can call it a strong T, whichever one you want to call it. Depends on whether or not you want to count the goalie in there or not. But you end up here with a stack through the middle, and what do they have covered here? They have the T intersection covered. Unfortunately, Bellemare here has his stick on the wrong side. You always want to be protecting the mid lane, but he thinks that puck has a better chance of going back to Fox, so he ends up keeping his stick over there. But you also got to admit he's probably a little bit hurt, and sometimes you don't make the best decisions when you're in pain. Take a look at the turn here. He's not even stop and starting, so they exploit Bellemare. You see that one knee down clapper by Zibanejad. This is just becoming famous for him. He is really reminding me of Brett Hull over and over again. That puck ends up moving over. This is the Rangers power play. They are deadly. They exploit the awesome penalty kill that is the Tampa Bay Lightning this game. And what happens again? You end up putting it right against that post. That's how you're going to beat Vasilevskiy. No chance there for Vasilevskiy, no matter how good he is. These are amazing goals all day, every day. So hopefully that backs up everything I said at the beginning of this video. Shesterkin, brilliant. Vasilevskiy, not that bad. Those were incredible goals. Tampa Bay played a very good game. Even though it's 6-2, I wouldn't be getting out the victory parades yet, because that could have easily been a 4-1 period if it wasn't for Shesterkin in the first. Lot of interesting movements with guys like Fox, with guys like Miller, Trouba breaking down those defensemen. That's how they drive their offense. Mika Zibanejad continues to escalate, rise, raise his game to whole another heights. I mean, this is the best Mika Zibanejad I think I've ever seen. Ranger fans, tell me, has he ever been this good? He's always been good, but I feel he's hitting his peak. If McDavid's hitting his peak over there in the west, Zibanejad's hitting his peak over here on the right, and then you get depth. You finally have some amazing Corsi shots coming at the net, and the kid line is picking it up. Lafreniere looks incredible. Kappo Kakko behind the net, showing you, reminding you why he's a high draft pick, but it's all about Chytil right now. Like I said last series, I think we're seeing a young superstar blossoming here in Chytil. He's finally coming along. The former first-round draft pick might be ready to take that step forward, and not a moment too soon, because you know you got Copp and Strome, who are unrestricted free agents. That's going to give you a little bit of bargaining power, a little bit of leverage, because when you have Chytil, he's looking like he can move up into a second line role right now. So, hey, that's the offseason. We don't care. They're all on the team right now. But I just love thinking about these things and watching the growth of players as they go. So, beauty game by the Rangers. Not a bad game by the Bolts. We'll end up seeing if the Bolts can steal one at home against New York. They only got to split the series, remember. So, if they can take one as the visiting team, we'll see. Vasilevskiy, not bad. 7 games of momentum working. 4 games and 8 days off might have hurt you. Anyways, subscribe, join, thumbs up, catch you in the next one.